experience sexual violence. And high-tech thieves have a new way they're trying to go after your money. One guy has a message for all of us after he lost a lot of money. And telemedicine is becoming more common, how this is becoming a game changer for people having strokes when every minute counts.
Good evening. Last month, we told you about hundreds of jobs heading to the city of Tehachapi. Now it turns out that all that job creation has kicked off other types of growth in the community. The Now's Scott Sheehan looks into the positive changes that are coming on this week's Kern Back in Business.
I love the climate, the seasons that we get, but most importantly, I love the people.
The pace of life here and the rich sense of community that are present.
Those are some of the reasons why Nicole Hamblin and Mike Safford moved their families to Tehachapi. Both Hamblin and Safford say they had multiple places to choose from before settling on Tehachapi.
Went and visited each of the places we had an opportunity to go, and after driving away from Tehachapi, literally we're driving back to Orange County from our first visit to Tehachapi, family all just said to one another, that just felt like home.
Others like the Saffords and the Hamblins are moving to Tehachapi. In 2017, the California Finance Department found that it's the third largest growing city per capita in Kern County. At first, it was the people driving the increase.
There's real people here that are doing real life, and it's not about the car you drive, it's not about the house you're living in, it's about being there for each other and that community and supporting each other and doing life.
Now Jay Slosher, who's Tehachapi's Development Services Director, he expects the trend to continue because more industry is moving into Tehachapi, like the new Adventist Health Hospital last fall and Walmart this summer.
The Walmart, I think, brings supporting retail. Think of the store you might go to on the same trip that you go to a Walmart to. So you might go to a bank. You might go get your hair done at a salon.
Slosher says right now, about 2/3 of the people living in Tehachapi work outside of Tehachapi. Having these new jobs from the hospital and Walmart and the new supporting businesses that come with them, it will create more jobs for the people to live and work in Tehachapi, and also prevent taxpayer dollars from being spent outside the community, like when people drive to Bakersfield for daily needs and goods.
Those tax dollars are really important to communities because that's what provides the money to pay for that police officer, or pay for that firefighter, or to keep the roads clean and keep the roads and asphalt in good condition.
You said about 550 new jobs are needed at the hospital and the Walmart. How is the city allowing development like this to happen to try to get those people to move in and to live here in Tehachapi?
So the city's job is to have our processes ready to go to accommodate that private sector development that comes with a raging economy. So our job is to make sure that we've got our zoning in order, we've got our processes ready, we're clear for when a home builder might be interested or a developer of a commercial business is interested.
Schlosser says a new housing developer put in papers to build about another 1,000 new single-family homes in Tehachapi, ranging from condos to custom houses over the next 5 years. More people moving into Tehachapi means more supporting business jobs like churches, which is what brought the Saffords to Tehachapi. And those supporting business jobs are also what Mike Safford hopes will help his wife find a new job in town.
She's actively looking, just recently started looking, and has lots of interviews lined up and lots of opportunity to get one of the many jobs that are coming available here in Tehachapi.
Schlosser says a city needs to grow in order to stay healthy economically. He says the city's challenge is finding the right amount of growth to improve the quality of life without losing the small town charm.
So the trick for us here is, again, is keeping that channeled in a healthy direction. Not explosive growth that we can't keep up with, and not so tightly controlled that we're so anti-business and we're so anti-development that it becomes unfeasible to develop.
For Hamblin, who this is her second time moving to Tehachapi,
Hey, Mom. Hey, welcome home.
she says she sees room for Tehachapi to grow.
I don't think it's going to turn into the fear that everybody sees it turning into as this, oh my gosh, this big city, we're bursting at the seams. I don't see that. I see that there is controlled growth and maturity.
And for the Hamblins and Saffords, they're excited to see what growth is around the corner for Tehachapi. In Tehachapi for the Now and Kernback in Business, Scott Sheehan, 23 ABC, connecting you.
Women's clothing store Dress Barn has announced it will be winding down operations and closing 650 locations, including the store here in Bakersfield. Dress Barn officials say all of the other their stores, and their website are fully operational right now, but storefronts will be closing down. It's unknown at this time how many employees will be impacted by the closure. Officials say there are no current changes to Dress Barn's return policies, refunds, or their gift cards. Our local Dress Barn is located off of Rosedale Highway, and a closure date has not yet been announced. Local civil rights leader and activist Dolores Huerta was in Sacramento today advocating for a pack of bills that will help children living in poverty. Huerta, along with family and youth advocates, called on lawmakers to pass a targeted child tax credit at today's rally. Supporters of the bill say 1 in 5 children in California live in poverty, and about 450,000 children live in states of deep poverty. They say the tax credit would help families afford day-to-day necessities and could possibly eliminate deep child poverty within 4 years.
It is amazing that we're in a state with such wealth and opportunity, and yet we're still faced with the issue of poverty.
California currently has the highest child poverty rate in the country. Governor Gavin Newsom has already set aside more than $50 million in his revised budget to fund child care for low-income families. Lawmakers are expected to vote on the budget next month.
Today we're looking at the growing movement to revamp how sexual education is taught in schools. We're focusing on adding topics of violence, consent, and unhealthy relationships. More research points to the fact that incorporating these sorts of conversations among teens could reduce instances of sexual violence. Columbia University found students who had refusal skills training were about 50% less likely to experience sexual assault in college. Abstinence-only education did not have the same effect. Last year, we traveled to Maryland, where they started teaching consent this school year. We talked to the state delegate mother-daughter team that helped get that legislation passed. They talked about how the Me Too movement changed the conversation.
These rhetorical ideas about how terrible sex ed is sort of became less important as the practical implications of let's teach our kids about consent so that they don't accidentally not understand it.
It was less of fixing and more of being proactive. I don't want the people who are in my generation to act the same as how I've seen people in my mother's generation and my grandmother's generation acting.
So here is where things stand today. More states have brought up legislation this year to change sexual education, but only 5 have passed it, and only 2 of those include consent. So just 10 states and the District of Columbia currently address it. 32 states still require that abstinence be stressed in schools. Drones are now on the job in all 50 states doing work for departments of transportation. This is according to a report from the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials. It found the drones are doing things that you might expect, like checking bridges for cracks in places that might be hard for people to reach, but they are also cruising for protected species of birds, searching for nests to make sure that any new construction doesn't disrupt their habitat. Back to our lineup, high-tech thieves have a new way that they're trying to go after your money. One guy has a message for all of us after he lost a lot of money. You're watching The Now. We start the news feed in Alabama. That's where police have arrested a man who killed an officer and wounded 2 others last night. Investigators say the suspect, who was wearing body armor, opened fire on the officers at a trailer park. The officers were responding to a domestic disturbance call. People close to the situation tell the Wall Street Journal that the man behind the college admission scheme told some families to claim their children were minorities when they were not. The FBI says William Singer also arranged for proctors to help students cheat on exams. Singer has pleaded guilty in the case and is awaiting sentencing. You can soon see the late Whitney Houston on tour again thanks to a hologram. Houston's family signed a deal with a music and marketing company to bring the singer's legacy back to life. The hologram is the first of several projects in the works involving Houston's accomplishments in music and movies. If you walk into pretty much any grocery store or supplement shop, you will see collagen powder. Annie Taylor is checking out the latest health craze and if it's worth the hype.
When you head into a supplement store, there are vitamins, there are minerals, there's protein powder, but the latest one to hit the shelves that people are just loving is collagen. And we wanted to find out, what's it all about? And is it really worth your money?
Collagen is actually the most abundant protein in your body.
Collagen makes up 30% of our entire body's protein content.
It's found in animal bones and ligaments and tendons, and that's, again, not traditionally part of our diet anymore.
Most brands say collagen supplements improve your hair, skin, nails, and the health of your bones and joints.
If you have a deficiency in collagen within your skin, it can decrease the skin health, which could cause stretch marks, dark spots, infections.
Supplement giant owner Adam Watts says collagen is great if you're over the age of 30.
After the age of 30, collagen production declines by 1% each year. So by the age of 50, you've basically lost out on 20% of your collagen production. If you have injury, collagen is going to go in there and help repair and rebuild tissue.
Registered dietitian Jessica Crandall Snyder says she recommends food as medicine, not supplements.
Being active on a daily basis, you're actually helping to resynthesize your collagen. So supplemental sources from protein powders may not be the way for you to get adequate nutrition. Once again, food sources are going to be your primary source of nutrition.
Collagen powder isn't cheap. Many start at $25 a container. But eggs, wild salmon, tomatoes, pumpkin, and chia seeds are affordable foods that aid in collagen production.
Supplemental sources, if you're not meeting your needs, are another way to help your body get to your goals.
Both our experts say collagen powder works, but make sure it's not your main source of protein. I'm Annie Taylor reporting.
Well, let's take a look at live at downtown Bakersfield at this hour. Sun is shining. We still see some clouds, but Allison, it's still a little chilly out there.
Yeah, it really is. We are tracking cold weather on the back end of our latest system that made its way across the county this weekend, bringing impressive rainfall amounts. So look at this, 66 degrees right now here in Bakersfield. That's technically up 9 degrees from what we were feeling this time yesterday, but still well below that seasonal average of 85 degrees. And it doesn't look like we are going to be reaching those temperatures until late next week. But we are seeing the calm after our latest storm, and again, the calm before our next storm system. Just a few high thin clouds that are banked up in the Kern River Valley as well as in Tehachapi. That is going to be the case as we head into the overnight hours, but wet weather is on the way as yet another low pressure system makes its way into Northern California, bringing those rain chances to us here in the valley, as well as the chance for snow into the Sierras to our north, and could be seeing some of that here in our mountains as well. Associated with this system is going to be strong winds, and we are already seeing that at this hour in our desert cities. We are tracking a wind advisory that begins at noon tomorrow, continuing until midnight. Gusts could be reaching up to 55 miles per hour in our mountain and desert cities. So that's something that we are going to be tracking. But as fresh air continues to make its way onshore, we have yet another day of good air quality here in the valley tomorrow with an AQI of 37. As this low pressure system makes its way onshore, it's not going to be bringing as much moisture as what we saw over the weekend, but still bringing the chance for scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms throughout the evening and afternoon hours for your Tuesday. So by the time 9 p.m. rolls around, that is actually going to be our best chance to get a good soaking here in Bakersfield. It's going to be continuing into the overnight hours. And on the back end of this system, tracking some cold air, and that does bring up the chance actually for some snow showers in the mountains and areas like Pine Mountain Club, Lebec, Tehachapi, as well as up in Lake Isabella. And as for temperatures, they're going to be holding on to those mid 60s as we head into your Tuesday and Wednesday, but then we are slowly drying out. Still a chance to see some very light rain showers for your Thursday and Friday, but warming up to 80 degrees by Saturday. until yet another storm system rolls into the county for Memorial Day weekend. Kamasi?
You know that sinking feeling when you lose your wallet or your credit cards? Today, Jace Larson has a warning about how high-tech thieves are going after your cash. But this time it has nothing to do with a lost or fraudulent credit card.
It won't surprise you that millions of bank account numbers are hacked and then posted online. Your username and passwords. Well, to help combat all of this, more and more banks are offering two-factor authentication. You know, that's where a bank texts your cell phone a special code that you have to enter. Well, now crooks have a way to beat that system too.
My name is Robert Ross. Hackers stole $1 million from me.
Those hackers were slick. Within just minutes, they'd wiped out every penny he'd saved. Some of the money was for his daughter's college. They spoofed what's called a SIM card. It's that little chip in most phones that tells the cellular company to route the calls to your phone versus somebody else's.
And what the hackers did is they called up AT&T and they impersonated me and they said, "Hi, my name is Rob Ross and I got a new phone with a new SIM card, and could you please change the SIM card number in my account?"
The hacker never touched his cell phone, but was able to route all of his calls and texts to the hacker's phone, including any two-factor authentication texts that were needed to get into Rob's bank accounts and Gmail accounts.
And then I looked up from my phone to my laptop and I saw that in real time, my Gmail was going from being logged in to logged out. And then I looked back down at my phone, I clicked through the lock screen, and I saw that I had no service.
When we call our cell phone carriers, they're going to ask us these questions that supposedly we only know.
This Metropolitan State University of Denver tech expert says it's hard to know how every hacker tricks phone companies, but he has some ideas.
What your mother's maiden name is, what your pet name is. The problem is all of those can be found out very easily through these breaches and through social media.
He says the growing number of breaches should not deter you from using two-factor authentication for Gmail and your bank accounts, but instead, he says, make it harder for people to impersonate you if all the company uses is a security question.
I also recommend lying about your secret security questions, and so that not your mother's maiden name, not your pet name, not your favorite car, because I can find out all of those things about you on Facebook or Twitter.
The suspect who broke into Robert's accounts has been caught. He's a 21-year-old from New York City. That suspect now faces 21 felonies. Most times hackers go after people who buy the virtual currency Bitcoin, but this can really happen to anyone. I'm Jace Larson reporting.
Thanks, Jace. Let's start the news feed. Ford is preparing to make major cuts to its job force around the world. The company is expected to slash 7,000 jobs by the end of August. 800 of those will be in North America, with 500 of them getting their layoff notices tomorrow. Nike is making changes to its contracts to protect women who become pregnant. The company came under fire for cutting the pay of some high-profile women who had kids. Nike says while it made changes last year to support women, it can go further. Chinese tech company Huawei is now facing repercussions after the U.S. deemed it a security threat. Google says basic services on Huawei smartphones will still work, but they could lose other features and support. Huawei uses Google's Android system in its phones. Telemedicine is becoming more and more common. How this is becoming a game changer for people having a stroke when every minute counts. Video calling is now a part of life for most of us, but what about a doctor using it to treat you if you're having a stroke? For one man, it was a lifesaver.
This is what did it for me right here. This is what saved me.
DJ Stelly had no idea how instrumental this small machine was in keeping him alive.
We're able to beam in and evaluate patients like you.
Months ago, a specialist 15 miles away used it to diagnose and treat the 38-year-old father and basketball coach for a stroke because his hospital didn't have a stroke neurologist on staff.
I literally never once remember talking to a screen or seeing a screen in a room.
The specialist decided to airlift him to a stroke center where he spent 4 days in ICU before making a full recovery.
In my case, it was truly valuable.
But I do think that this is going to be the future of super specialized expert care that's instantaneously available.
Dr. Chris Fanal started the telemedicine program at Swedish Medical Center just outside Denver. Stroke specialists have access to more than 50 telemedicine robots in emergency rooms in 5 states. He says the diagnosis isn't the difficult part. Determining treatment is, and an incorrect dose of stroke medicine TPA could be deadly.
As you can imagine, patients as well as other physicians not used to this are a bit skittish at times making that decision on their own. And so that's where we kind of help and augment providing that specialty care. So this is usually where the camera is placed.
He showed us how doctors use their cell phones to beam into a patient's hospital room.
And you can see pupils being reactive or not, if there's any droopiness of the face.
He can zoom in and out, even test language, saving critical time when every minute counts.
So these are just standardized cartoon pictures that will pop up on the camera in place of us. And we just ask them explanations of naming objects.
Dr. Fanal believes the technology will not only lead to better care, but lower costs.
Thank you for everything.
Using technology to save time and save lives. We see charcoal in pretty much everything these days, from face masks to toothpaste, and just scrolling through Amazon, check out all of these different types of charcoal toothpaste. It claims to whiten and strengthen your teeth. Tomorrow we're finding out if you can really trust those claims or if it's all just a marketing gimmick.
Coming up after the break, we are talking about rain chances. Despite a gorgeous day today, there is a chance for rain still this upcoming week. We're taking a look after the break.
Well, we had a mostly clear but cool day across Kern County today. That's going to be the case again on Tuesday because we are tracking our next storm moving into the county with a chance for some scattered showers every single day for the next 7 days. But a slight warm up is on the way as we head into the weekend.
Keep those umbrellas handy. That's going to do it for us. We'll see you at 11.